Hey, what's up everyone? Back here with another comic book review. I've got Shang-Chi issue number 1. I'm a big old Shang-Chi fan. I've got a ton of the old Master of Kung Fu comics from the 70s written by Doug Mank. Love that stuff. It took Marvel Studios having to actually make a movie for Shang-Chi for the comic books to finally give him the attention he deserves and put out a comic. But you know what? I'm digging it because I'm a big old fan. This comic is written by Gene Luen Yang, who's a great writer. I've got friends who've read more of his work and know him better than me. But I like what I've read. And I really like what he did with the Chinese Superman from a few years ago there at DC during the Rebirth era. But lately he's been the go-to guy for anything Asian related. And that's kind of weird, but if he writes it good, then I'm okay with it. So I am okay with this. The art is by Dai Ruan. He is a great artist. I'm going to go more in depth with his art later. So first thing I want to talk about is this 5-issue limited series of Shang-Chi that probably wrapped up a few months ago actually. So pretty recent. I love this cover too. This cover, the colors are popping, very dynamic. Awesome Jim Chung cover. It really got me into his new costume. Great costume redesign. I love this. So it's done by the exact same creative team, Gene Luen Yang and Dai Ruan. It even has, in addition to Dai Ruan, Philip Tan interior art who did flashback scenes of Shang-Chi's evil emperor. It was really good. I loved it from beginning to end. Great series. So this should have been issue 6. It is really a continuation. It picks up right where Gene left off in this one. But you know what? I gotta judge it as an issue 1 since Marvel is obsessed with rebooting things and they love those sales numbers for issue 1s. And it is not as strong as an issue 1. It wasn't as strong as the first issue to that limited series. But I'm going to get into why. First thing I'm going to talk about is the cover. This is a very okay cover. It's by Lanil Yu, who's a great artist, and he's gotten a lot better, but this isn't his best. The colors aren't popping. That's not really his fault, but it's a very basic pose. Shang-Chi has no expression on his face, and it looks like he literally just combed his hair. So that's kind of weird. When I originally saw the solicitations for this comic in the Marvel Preview Mag, I was like, okay, I know what cover I want. I'm showing you this one here. The J. Scott Campbell variant cover. That is a cover. That looks awesome. The colors are popping. Shang-Chi looks ripped, very dynamic. And you know, this is a technique that artists spend their entire careers trying to learn how to do. It's all about the angle. They're essentially in the exact same pose. All J. Scott Campbell did was angle the camera downward and aim it up at him to create this hero shot. That looks amazing. That looks awesome. But unfortunately, it was not a standard priced variant. It was very expensive, so I could not get my hands on one. So I'm okay with the standard. At first glance, you're like, no way he could beat all these guys in a fight. Like, Shang-Chi could beat Thor, no way. But you know what? If it was a level playing field, Shang-Chi's a human, but he's got them deadly hands, you know. So if it was a level playing field, just man-to-man, hand-to-hand combat, Shang-Chi would win. He is the master of Kung Fu. So getting right into the story, I love how it opens with Shang-Chi and his sister, Sister Dagger, or he calls her by her real name, Esme now. And they're looking up at Spider-Man. They look like they're fighting. And then it gets right into that classic comic book thing of what happened earlier. And so Shang-Chi is on a date with Delilah Wang, who's probably going to be a superhero lawyer that we're going to see a lot more later on. I actually just brushed over this recap. I didn't know it was a recap. I went right to the story because this looks like a generic ad or something. So that's really, really lame on the marketing team side, or whoever's at fault for this very dumb-looking recap. They could have put it in like some image of an old-looking scroll or something like that, something cool. Put a dragon in there or something. It's like a blank piece of paper. But anyway, it just recapped the 5-issue limited series pretty much. There is Shang-Chi discovered the 5 Weapon Society, an organization that his father started. And Shang-Chi was the head of the Hand, so hand-to-hand combat. There's Sister Dagger, Brother Saber. They all got an army of ninjas. But spoiler alert for the limited series is that Shang-Chi defeated the threat and became the supreme commander of the entire 5 Weapon Society. But he's going to use its resources to destroy itself and to take down the remnants of his father's criminal organization, because he has escapades all over the place in every industry. In this issue, they'll be taking down some drug and weapons related escapades from his father. So here in the story, Shang-Chi he keeps stopping the date to text Esme, which I thought was totally rude. He's being a total rude dog, and Esme is obsessed with wanting to kill people. She keeps asking permission to kill someone she's interrogating, and he's just saying no. And does it again, and this time he's like, I'm turning my phone off now. And I'm thinking, you're Shang-Chi, why would you ask permission? Just turn it off, you know? Goes in for the kiss, and I'm like, did the table in between them magically disappear? And but then they're interrupted by a guy hitting the window. Cuts over here. I really like that Shang-Chi was wearing his superhero costume under the clothes he was wearing, and conveniently Esme is interrogating the guy right by the restaurant they were just at a date at, and then the bad guy busts out this root. It doesn't show if he eats it or touches it or whatever, but it basically gives him bare hands, and he gets dispatched by Shang-Chi really quickly with a kick to the gut. Esme finds what she thinks is a spider toy on the back of his boot, but Shang-Chi knows what that is. I think I got a few old Marvel team-ups with Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. Really cool shot of Spider-Man coming in now, very reminiscent of Olivier Coipel. He draws Spider-Man a lot like this. So, Dike Ruan is kind of an Asian version of Olivier Coipel or Stuart Eminem. Really great art. I love it. And man, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. But this page captures everything I love about comic books. The shape of the panels, you can see the motion behind them, the colors, very dynamic stuff. I love this. Even Esme has this bit about how she watches Spider-Man YouTube videos or something, but she's still going to kill him because she is obsessed with killing everybody. So she webs her hands, and Shang-Chi gives her the whole, hey, keep the brother hand Supreme Commander stuff down in front of my work friends. And thought it was funny that Spider-Man, being the respectful guy he is, does the Chinese bow thing here too. And Shang-Chi is trying to play coy. He doesn't want Spider-Man to team up with him, but he's going to do it anyway because he wants to keep on the down low that he's the head of a criminal organization now. Leads him to this Chinese medicine shop, and Shang-Chi and Spider-Man go to investigate and tell Esme to stay there. She doesn't listen though, goes straight in, completely disobeys Shang-Chi. Like, I thought he was not only your older brother, but he's also the Supreme Commander. Why don't you listen to him at all? Very disobedient. She comes in, confronts the old man running the store, and he starts busting into this story. Now, a long time ago when he was a servant boy, he worked for a powerful man. Then he stumbled upon the carcass of a Yiren, which is a creature the Westerners call a Chinese Yeti. And it kind of freaked him out, but he created from it, he took from its DNA and created the Yiren root. And so once again, it doesn't show if he eats it or touches it or whatever. But then the guy that he worked for pretty much set him up shop in America, and reveals that was Shang-Chi's father. And then I guess he's a new bad guy because he refers himself as King Wildman, which did make me let out an audible laugh when I first read that. Lunges at Esme, and then don't see what happens next. Spider-Man and Shang-Chi are just talking on a rooftop. I guess last time they met was during Spider Island, which was Dan Slott's first arc, I think, for his Amazing Spider-Man runs. That was a while ago. And I think back then Spider-Man didn't have his powers, so Shang-Chi quickly taught him the way of the spider, a fighting style, and he says something about how that's supposed to help his spider sense. And then they quickly fight the guys inside. Pretty cool stuff. The colors are popping. Spider-Man sets up a web, and Shang-Chi just kicks him into it. And then Esme bursts on the scene. She's so annoying, and she beat King Wildman off screen. I thought that was lame. Tricks Spider-Man with the whole help an old man up routine, and then he sticks a root onto his face. So I'm like, okay, so you do just have to touch it and it sticks onto you. They didn't convey that very well at first. He grows 2 more pairs of arms because conveniently he's Spider-Man, and he goes superpowered. They have a pretty good fight, but it immediately opens with Shang-Chi saying, "Don't kill him, Esme." I'm thinking, geez, as if she could. But they have a pretty good fight. Really good double page right here. But what was missing here is that Spider-Man shoots a web at him, and then he just has the web in his hand. They run around and tie him up with it, and then Shang-Chi plucks the root off of his face. What was missing here is you see all this wasted space right here too of really heavy inking. You could have had another panel. I would have scooched this panel over and had a panel of Shang-Chi catching Spider-Man's web so it doesn't just skip to this part. Plus, that would have had the extra bonus of showcasing Shang-Chi's speed. So that kind of bothered me. Spider-Man shrinks back down, and the transformation really exhausts him. And he's like, hey, we've got drugs, we've got weapons, let's call the authorities. But Esme says that these crates have the 5 Weapon Society insignia on it and that the authorities will trace it back to them. Spider-Man's starting to be like, oh, what's going on here? And calls it trivial matters. That really pisses off Esme. And he's like, hey, what did I say about how you're to address me in front of Spider-Man? And she straight up says, you know what, Brother Hand? Screw off. She's getting pissed, saying, I'm tired of you acting like you're ashamed of your family, like you're ashamed of me. And I'm thinking, what have you done so far that makes it so that you deserve any respect? Because so far you've been pretty disobedient and extremely annoying. But anyway, Shang-Chi kind of succumbs to that, and he fesses up to Spider-Man saying, hey, yeah, that my sister is actually part of an evil organization that I'm the head of now, and I'm their leader. So I'm taking possession of everything in this space. So he tells Esme to call upon her ninjas. They show up in a friggin' helicarrier. Look at these colors. These background colors are amazing. But these ninjas show up, take all the stuff. Spider-Man's just like, well, what is happening? I love this part right here where he says, what just happened exactly? Are you still one of us? And you know the face he's given him under that mask. Shang-Chi says, what does your spider sense tell you? And Spider-Man watches him fly away. Once again, love these colors. I've never had so much fun looking at these buildings, not in a long time. There's really great backgrounds over here. A lot of artists don't give a damn about backgrounds, but this artist does, and I like that. It ends with King Wildman. He conveniently got away, and looks like some mysterious figure's coming over here to make a deal with him, and that's the end of the first issue. Here it says next, Shang-Chi versus Captain America. Oh, cool. Turn the page, this is so annoying. And then it says next month, Shang-Chi versus Captain America. Shows the cover. That is so annoying. I love this cover. That looks cool, right? But it's like, why didn't this just say to be continued? So that we wouldn't have to read Shang-Chi versus Captain America twice. Because then with this, we get to see it along with reading it. So that really annoyed me. I don't know, this team, they must have been in charge of the recap too. Really lazy. They need to get their act together with that one. But anyway, that is the story. Pretty much my takeaway is that Sister Dagger, or Esme, came off as extremely entitled, annoying, and very unlikable. And there is a line, but even her humor wasn't humorous. And there is a line between making a young character, young kind of sidekick character, kind of funny and fun. Jean Lun Yang blew right past that line. He didn't give a damn about that line. He just made her straight annoying. I didn't enjoy her part in this comic at all, and we didn't even see anything of Brother Saber. Maybe we'll see him again in the next issue. But yeah, I'm not into Esme right now. She was very annoying, especially for Shang-Chi, who just his very presence demands respect. He is a character that was obviously based on Bruce Lee, especially appearance-wise, fighting style-wise, the poses, but personality-wise, he was very stoic, very serious all the time. So that is how Jean Lun Yang writes Shang-Chi. Is very fun, much more lighthearted. I get that's the kind of story he wanted to tell with Shang-Chi. So if you can get past that, you can enjoy that. That is a big hurdle for me because I love the old Master of Kung Fu comics. So it's kind of weird sometimes reading Shang-Chi so lighthearted, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. It's like, you know what, he didn't want to write Shang-Chi as serious as Doug Mank did, and he would realistically act different around his newfound siblings, people he can be lighthearted with. So I'll accept it for now. If you can accept it, then you can enjoy this book. Is it a recommend? No, there was too much things that bothered me in this comic if I were to view this in isolation, but I do recommend this if you're a fan of art, which hopefully you are if you are even interested in comics, because the art is the best part. That is the main point. And I would also recommend this if you want to invest in the story and you're excited about Shang-Chi, especially with a movie coming out, and you want to hop on board the gravy train and get on with this Shang-Chi character. This is the current comic with Shang-Chi in it. And I honestly think that Jean Lun Yang loves Shang-Chi and respects Shang-Chi, and he's not going to drag him through the mud. So he wants this to succeed, and he wants his version of Shang-Chi to succeed. I really honestly believe that. So that being said, I'm ready to invest in this series, and I'm excited for the next issue. So please comment below. Tell me what you think. I know I say in the end of almost all my videos that, don't buy manga, buy comics, but you can buy manga if you want. But you know what? This was great stuff. Comment below. Tell me if you would actually prefer manga over something this awesome. Because you got a bunch of Chinese dudes making these comics, sure, or this comic here, and but I had a lot of fun reading it. Great comic book format, despite the flaws. Yeah, this is pretty fun. I'm excited for the next issue. Comment below, tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my review of issue 2 or whatever else I do. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to review some of my vintage old Master of Kung Fu comics. Thanks for watching. Bye.